Picture a beautiful sunrise over a bustling construction site. You know the scene. You hear the heavy machinery, you see massive steel rods everywhere, and you watch literal mountains of gray powder being mixed. We all know concrete is the backbone of modern civilization, but there is a massive misconception out there. Most people just naturally assume that if you want a stronger building, well, you just need to add more cement to your mixture, right? Today, we are going to completely challenge that assumption and uncover the real, hidden secret to building strength. So, where does a building's strength actually come from? It's a really simple question, but it gets to the absolute core of structural engineering. We are so conditioned to think that premium cement is the magic bullet here. We see these flashy advertisements for top-tier cement brands and think, hey, if I just buy the best powder, my house will stand forever. But let's do a little myth-busting today. The cement itself is literally just one ingredient in a much larger, complex chemical reaction. If you mess up the recipe, even the most expensive cement in the world will crumble like chalk. The true strength isn't just in the materials themselves, it's actually in how they are brought together. Okay, let's dive into this, because the true answer is the proper water-cement ratio. This is the absolute golden rule of civil engineering. The water-cement ratio is simply the weight of the water divided by the weight of the cement used in a concrete mix. I know, it sounds incredibly basic, just mixing powder and liquid, but this precise mathematical calculation is the single most important factor determining whether a structure will stand strong for a century or start falling apart in a decade. Precision here is literally everything. Let's look at the delicate balance, how water changes everything. Think about what's actually happening inside that mixer. When you introduce water to sand, aggregate, and cement, you kick off a complex chemical reaction called hydration. The water doesn't just make the mix wet, it actively binds the molecules together into artificial rock. But here is a wildly counterintuitive fact for you. More water equals less strength. Seriously. On a hot day at a construction site, workers often want to add extra water to make a soupy mix because it's so much easier to pour and spread. Scientifically, though, this is a disaster. When you pour excessive water into the mix, not all of it is actually used in the chemical hydration process. That extra unreacted water just sits there inside the concrete, and when it eventually evaporates, it leaves behind microscopic air pockets and voids. You are literally building empty space into your walls and columns. And this brilliantly illustrates the consequence of those hidden voids. With the correct water-cement ratio, the particles are packed tightly together. They form this dense, impenetrable matrix that ensures high strength and longevity. But when too much water is added, those evaporated water pockets turn into massive structural weaknesses. Under the immense weight of a building, those microscopic voids essentially connect, forming severe structural cracks. A watery mix fundamentally compromises the integrity of the concrete right from day one. Moving on to the ultimate proof, the concrete cube compression test. Now, in the world of structural engineering, we don't guess, right? We test. To truly understand how drastic the difference is between a watery mix and a precise mix, we turn to rigorous laboratory science. Here is exactly how this works. Engineers cast these small concrete cubes using different water-cement ratios and let them cure. Once hardened, these cubes are placed into a massive hydraulic testing machine that applies extreme, high-pressure compression, literally crushing down on the cube with dozens of tons of force. We then observe the breaking point. The cube made with too much water? It shatters surprisingly early, sending dust and chunks everywhere, simply because those internal voids buckle under the stress. But the properly mixed concrete completely withstands that high pressure. The gauge on the hydraulic press climbs higher and higher, applying immense, crushing weight. Yet the precisely mixed cube holds firm. By getting that water-cement ratio correct, the compressive strength of the concrete absolutely skyrockets. This laboratory test is the undeniable proof that managing the amount of water in the mix is just non-negotiable if you want a structure that can carry heavy loads without failing. Let's move on and see how this builds in practice with real-world results, facing the elements. So, we've talked about the lab and the chemistry, but what does this actually mean for a modern luxury building? Buildings aren't just holding up their own weight, they're constantly battling the environment 24/7. The outcomes of getting this mix right are profound, because a correct water-cement ratio results in dense concrete without all those voids. Water from the outside simply can't penetrate it easily. This means the building withstands heavy rain with absolutely zero leakage, and it prevents those scary structural cracks over time. Ultimately, this equates to long-term safety for families. When a happy family enters their new home, they are trusting the chemistry in the walls to keep them safe. That dense, well-mixed concrete is essentially the invisible shield protecting them. Strong, durable, safe. These are the three absolute pillars of a properly constructed home.
When you respect the science of the water-cement ratio, you aren't just pouring a foundation, you are pouring peace of mind. You're ensuring that the investment of a lifetime doesn't turn into a total maintenance nightmare of leaks, patches, and structural fears down the road. This is the real emotional weight behind the engineering.
Now let's explore the trusted solution: expert supervision.
Knowing all of this, how do you actually guarantee that the correct ratio is being used on your own site? Achieving this perfect balance and preventing critical on-site mistakes requires complete technical guidance. So the crucial point is, quality construction begins with quality supervision. You can buy the most expensive materials on the market, but without an expert on site constantly monitoring the mixer, checking the moisture of the sand, and strictly enforcing the math of the water-cement ratio, you are totally leaving your building's strength to chance. You need a trusted authority who truly understands the science and refuses to compromise on quality. And this is exactly where expert supervision becomes critical. Meet engineer Abubakar Bhavikatti, a consulting civil engineer with exceptional qualifications, including a diploma in public health engineering and a Bachelor of Engineering in Civil. He represents exactly the kind of highly qualified supervision a premium project demands. When you have a dedicated professional like Bhavikatti on site, someone who offers timely work alongside rigorous technical guidance, they become your trusted construction partner. They're the ones actually ensuring the science is respected, so your home's foundation is absolutely flawless. This dedication to engineering excellence is the heart of Bhavikatti Construction's brand promise: building trust, delivering quality. When a company anchors itself on these core values, they are committing to premium residential and commercial structures that don't just look good on the surface, but are structurally sound down to the microscopic level. They build trust by ensuring that those vital, hidden details, like the perfect water-cement ratio, are managed perfectly every single time. Now, what's really interesting here is how actionable this is. If you are planning a project in Karnataka, you don't have to leave the structural integrity of your building to chance. Located right in Hunagund, you can reach out directly at +91 70199 70644 to connect with a consulting civil engineer who prioritizes exact science and uncompromising supervision. This is essentially your gateway to true peace of mind for your project. Which leaves us with one final, very important thought. Are you ready to build a strong foundation for your dream home with a trusted expert? We've seen today that strength isn't just about buying cement. It's about the delicate chemistry of water, the density of the mix, and the rigorous supervision required to get it exactly right. It's about protecting your family and your biggest investment. I really hope this explainer has completely changed how you look at a construction site. Prioritize quality engineering, trust the experts at Bhavikatti Constructions, and make sure your dream home is built to last a lifetime. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating topic today. Keep learning, keep building strong, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.